So welcome to that podcast that we started. It's called World Chase Talks, where we try to interview different athletes, producers, referees, people who make the sport. And I think that's a great one today because we have both of you guys, both Night of Flight from WCT5. Do you know each other, or is that the first time that you're both like in a proper conversation?
We talked in Chase Tag.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we just saw each other there and then hung out, like literally
Yeah,
at the after party, and then
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. So just to make it a little easier and kind of break the ice, I told you both we try to make like a small game or something where each of you is gonna just tell like 3 small stories or 3 lines, and one of them is a false one. Do you know that game? Do you have it?
Yeah.
Two
But I
truths,
forgot
two truths and a lie.
Yeah, 2 truths and a lie. That's an easier way to explain it. Basically, like World Chase Tag wasn't able to determine who's the best athlete between you two, so we're gonna determine who's the best liar. And basically, who's gonna become the Bob, the believer of bullshit? I've got lots of stupid jokes like that. So who wants to go first?
I forgot to think of some.
You didn't prepare it.
Uh,
He's gonna
Okay, I'll
he's
go.
gonna start with like
I'll
I
go.
made the biggest double Kong ever today.
Damn. Okay, I have nothing to rival that. Okay, I got you. I moved to New York. I'm still injured from the World Championships, and because of that, Apex dropped me, and I'm not playing with Apex ever again.
So that's 2.
that's 2, yeah.
That's 3.
Oh, you're not playing with Apex because of the injury.
That's the third one. So I moved to New York. I got injured in Worlds, and I'm still screwed up. And Apex dropped me because the 2 things before that.
Wait, what's the third one? You're not playing with Apex ever again?
Yeah.
I mean, New York, we know it's true. You're in New York right now.
Am I?
I've seen you post things online, like being in the parks and stuff in New York.
I feel like you are going to play for Apex again.
What do you think, Lloyd?
I think like the first one, I know you're in New York right now, so I would say it's true. The second one, being still injured from WCT5, it's quite a long time ago, but that's still possible. And that would be the reason why you're not with Apex. So either both are wrong, are false, or only one, and in that case, only the first one is true. Like, you still injured from WCT5. Yet I've seen you train, like post videos.
What counts as injured? Just like it hurts a bit.
I injured as in I can't train like I used to be able to train. Let's put it that way.
I think if you were not gonna play with Apex because they dropped you, you wouldn't be wearing the Apex shirt right now.
Yeah.
What if I'm just living in the past?
Maybe. So which one is it? I'd say like
This is
you're
from-
gonna
this
you
is
would
from
play with Apex
USA.
again. Yeah. Really? Yeah. I see the quad in the front.
But I think the lie is that you're never going to play for Apex again.
Yeah, I think too.
Okay, you got me. I hope to play one day again with them. But I did get injured in the last Worlds, and it's still been really screwing me up until now. And I just learned about it, like really what happened. So that was 8 months ago, and I haven't been able to train since, basically, like go hard.
Okay. So what happened to you? What kind of injury did you get?
It was against Kimyo. I went under the mountain, did a QM under the mountain, hit my lower back, and then it turns out I have a bulging disc now in my lower back. So, like, I don't know, I just got a bunch of pain. And then I kept trying to train because I didn't know I was a bulging disc. I thought I just hurt myself, like muscle problems. So I kept training on it, and then it's just gotten worse and worse. And then I just threw it out a couple weeks ago, and I can't probably train for a little while longer.
Yeah. And did you feel it straight away? Like, because I remember you kept playing like the next games and the next day and everything. Like, was that like a lot of pain or?
Yeah, it was right after the finals, the next day, I had my backpack on, leaving the Airbnb, and I had to have all my friends, all my teammates carry my stuff for me because I just could not carry my bag. So, yeah. And then I did construction after that, and then I just started doing deadlifts, and then I started doing all this stuff. So I really didn't do anything good for my back.
Yeah, I would have never told like this. Like I've seen you the next day at IMAX at the training session. I was telling you how beautiful your eyes are and everything. Um, I would have like
Yeah, I remember that.
that's crazy, right? Starting on good vibes.
Good vibes.
Good vibes.
I'm still, working out, still doing all that. Just gonna get stronger for when I do get back. So,
How long until you're gonna be better, do you think?
so the doctor told me it was gonna take either 6 months to 2 years to get better. And Worlds was 8 months ago, and I just threw it out again a couple weeks ago. So we'll never really know. I just have to stay careful.
What stuff can you do? Like you can like squat and stuff.
Yeah, I can squat. No flexion, so no like bending my back and doing deadlifts.
Mm.
No high impact, so no big jumps, and that's all I want to do is just jump really far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
why you started more climbing.
I'm kind of stuck to, yeah, I'm just kind of stuck to rock climbing for the time being.
Mm.
So yeah, it's been a good time. I've just been getting, better at rock climbing.
Yeah, shit. I was hoping more like drunk stories or something, and you start with like a very low one. I'm like, oh fuck, how do we recover from that? All right.
I don't know, man. That's my 2 truths and a lie.
Okay, I'll just say them once. Okay, so I walked across Wales in a straight line. I nearly drowned in the sea. I got stuck out of sea, basically, nearly drowned. What's the last one? What could it be?
Just for the audience, I told them to prepare for these questions.
Yeah, sorry.
Didn't do his homework.
Is one lie, yeah?
Yeah. Are you gonna say the lie for the last one because you already told your two truth? That may be a good poker move, saying like, oh, I don't know what I need to think of something, and that's gonna be still like a truth or something.
I feel like I saw a clickbait or something of like,
my
I
elo
drowned.
on chest
Your what?
is 1,400.
Your what?
My elo on chest is 1,400.
That seems very
You're a
precise.
chest guy. How big is Wales?
Depends where you walk.
Okay, your elo is not 1,400.
No.
Oh really? I was thinking, I was like, that's very precise. Like maybe he's trying to like flip us. So you both got it right. No one fell under control. We wanted to make the acronym like the one that loses fell under control of the other guy, so it becomes the FUC KOF, fuck off. So that was like, we were gonna give you a title, award your title.
Yeah, maybe a little bit more communication in advance would have been nice to understand this. I think so.
Yeah. All right, let's move to the real questions now. So basically, like, I think one thing that people would really be interested in, considering you're currently like rated both the best players in the world of World Chase Tag, how do you both train? Like, what is, if you had to give advice to someone that starts or want to compete, what would be one or two things they need to focus on training on World Chase Tag?
I'd say just being able to do the things that, being able to just move around the court effortlessly without really having to worry about you getting stuck somewhere. So just have good control of your body and just being able to like move and just like bounce off something if you bounce it and run away and like, yeah, just be in control of wherever you are.
So would you move toward like, kind of give the advice to focus more on the movements and techniques, kind of like parkour training, as opposed to more like strategy or thinking of something?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you started chase tag from no parkour experience, I think it'd be really hard to like. I think you just end up doing parkour just to get better at chase tag because you sort of need to be able to move well.
I get what you're saying, and I have to agree to it because everyone that's been good at chase tag right now has been like has a kind of a parkour background or something. But you only need like a certain level of parkour. You don't really need to be like doing big dive or double
Oh
comms
no,
or stuff like
no,
that's
I
not
don't mean
that's
big
you don't need
jumps.
to
I
be like
mean just
elite athletes in parkour to be very good at chase tag or something.
No, yeah, I mean just being able to control your body like very well. Because some people, even with like, can do big jumps, but they can't. They haven't got that much control. Like if you just bounce it, you can save yourself and like run under here. And yeah, that's like the main thing. Not necessarily big jumps or anything, but be able to like
Yeah, I think
flow
that's what
around. And
that's what you guys like excel at for sure. When it comes to quad, like I feel like you don't even need to have that experience when it comes to your team, because I see you guys just do the most stupid things, but you guys can recover without looking at your feet, and that's what I noticed the most. Especially like Devin, I just keep watching him run, and
Yeah.
he never looks at
I know,
He
whatever
has
right?
he's
this
gonna
style
step
of just
on,
like
ever.
just
Yeah.
like so cool. And you, Jason, what would you say? Like, what would be if you were to train a team now? Maybe not beginners, like intermediate or already good athletes. What would your focus be on to bring them to like elite level?
I would say focus on your continuums, like making sure you know what to do when and how to respond in every situation. Have like an A, B, and C that you can always go back on. That's how I always look at it. It's like if they do this, you do that, so it's back and forth. And then I would also say I personally like just studying other people, other teams. I like really getting to know who I'm like paired up against. It's not always about team versus team, it's about player on one team being against a player on another team. So you can just boil it down to just that and just really just figure out who you are going to be going against.
So if you were to pick like one athlete, like to look out for, not including both of you guys, who would be someone that like you think you have the most to learn from?
So who would be the most dangerous for me?
Not even for you, just like who you think like you would get the most out of just from like learning and kind of, you know, picking from where they train, how they play, and everything. If you were to tell me like I don't have your level, which athlete I should follow and kind of like maybe not copy the style, but which would be like the prime example outside of both of you?
I don't really look at other athletes. I feel like I feel like I study them to go against them, but I try to stay true to myself. But if I had to choose one, I think Jared Ludy is becoming just absolutely crazy at whatever he wants to do. He just gets really good at it. So like going into tag now, and now that he's part of Apex, it's just going to get ridiculous how much that guy sends and how he's adapted every single play style. So I think that's really someone to look out for in the future.
So you're both like obviously like from a big parkour background, and like you're both involved like on both like your parkour journey, some chase tag. You also do some other activities. I know, Jason, you do a lot of climbing, as I said. What kind of place World Chase Tag takes into your training right now? I know like for Apex at some point that was like maybe the majority of your time for like 6 months or 7 months going into competition or something. What is the place right now in your training, and do you see it becoming like bigger or just like stable or going down now that you've already done it or something?
What are you gonna say?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, sorry, I was gonna say, especially for Apex, we only really trained for like a month and a half, 2 months before every competition, and we just like put a lot of work into those 2 months or like 1 month. But yeah, I wouldn't really say so. What about you, Orlando?
Yeah, I haven't trained chase tag since the event. I'm just doing parkour right now.
I think you went into WC5 just coming back from like a US trip where you didn't train chase tag for like
Yeah, for a
months. You
month.
just because
Yeah.
how do you feel about teams now? Like, so I'm thinking obviously like Kimeo is training all week on the quad. Fata Morgana is training like coming to France every other month or something. United, Parkour 59 and everything, like they used to come from parkour. Some people now they start with chase tag. They don't even start with parkour anymore, and they just like focus 100% on chase tag. They train chase tag every day. That's the only thing that
Yeah.
like they're focused on. Do you see this as a threat at some point, or do you still think like, given your parkour advantage that you have from like many years, do you think that's gonna like
I
kind of
think
level the
it will
competition or
be.
something?
Yeah, it depends how much training we do. I think the further on we go, like I think the better people are going to get, and they're just going to keep training chase tag, We obviously can't constantly train chase tags, so I don't know what the future's going to be, but yeah. Hopefully the next one we'll be able
Man,
to put. It's going to get tougher and
based on
tougher.
what I've been seeing, yeah, based on what I've been seeing from everyone, like especially the U.S. teams, now that there's a quad in like Atlanta, those guys, a lot of the U.S. teams are going down there and then just they're training like every single day, and they're getting really good. And I think they're getting a lot of like our basic strategy. They're just like figuring it out. Even if you just train on a quad every day, but you don't train effectively, it's not going to do the same as just doing a little bit really well and instead of doing a lot not really well. So it's like focusing on certain aspects that will really improve. So it's like, yeah, like the competition's definitely going to go way up this next season. It's already been seen in the USA tournament that happened in October. Like I think everyone's game just improved dramatically. But there's a lot to learn. I think even Apex still has some things up their sleeve. We're still hiding.
I talked like at some point like with Olof or Amos like at US Championship, and they told me a few things that I won't disclose here, obviously. I get what you're saying. Like if you don't train effectively, that would be like for any discipline. Like you could train parkour every day and not becoming really good at it if you don't like put your mind to it and actually like think through what you're doing or something. But
Yeah,
with
we
the
saw
rates
that
of
in Worlds
events
too.
going up, like you will have this year. So the US Championship happen. We're gonna have the Pan Am Championship. We're gonna have French, possibly UK, EMA Championship, Asia Championship, WCT5, and maybe like 4 live tournaments, not including all the tournaments in Europe. Like France has like one every month or something. So you have teams that even if they don't train smart, they still confront other teams every month or every few weeks. So they're gonna like get something out of it at some point, don't you think?
Looking at like what happened in Worlds, all the European teams had access to quads at the time.
Yeah.
But it was seen that they were just using their time and they just ran chases like over and over again. So again, it comes back to like how you use that time on the quad, and it really showed how like in the past US tournaments, Apex really got a lot of critic for just being the only team to be able to train on a quad. But then going into Worlds and seeing other teams that also had access to quads not utilize that the same way as we did, yeah, it really just proved that it's how you utilize like your time and how you're effectively like training. It's not just running chases over and over again. It's like looking deeper into it.
At Worlds, like the teams that reached like the quarterfinals and everything were like, so on the US side, basically both Apex team, I think Hollywood Freerunners went to quarterfinals. For France, so United didn't have a quad, and then Blacklist only have an 8-meter quad. PHAT, they like you have a quad sometimes, but not every time, and it's like in the garden. And you're like you came back from a trip, you're not really trained on it. Fata didn't have a quad. They did like insanely well for a team that never like touched a quad before. And then Kimio and Paco 59, they only knew they were they were going to go World Championship 2 weeks prior to the event or something. I'm thinking now with all the build up for months, there may be a chance like to see differences. Like obviously anyone now not only want to become the world champion, people want to be the team that's gonna beat Apex. Do you feel the pressure on that?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been out of the game. I didn't even compete in the last USA tournament, and so I don't really know. Like I wasn't in it, didn't feel it. But yeah, there's pressure. But I think Amos has been talking and looking at a lot of people. He's been in Atlanta for a while. He's been looking at it, and I think the skill level is definitely going to increase, and we're gonna have like maybe a run for our money. But then at the end of the day, man, it doesn't matter about strategy or skill. It's about family, and as long as you have family, you're unbeatable.
One of the main difference between like PHAT and Apex, like outside of like the training on the quad or something that has been completely different, you don't have a coach per se. Like you're all athletes in the team, as opposed to Apex. Even though Amos has been playing and he's been great on the quad and everything, like I think he only gave away 1 evasion or something, so that's still like crazy levels. But he's been more in the role of like kind of the coach or manager of the team, if I may say, and you may correct me if you want, Jason. Do you think that's something that's missing for PHAT to keep pushing the team towards World Chase Tag, or is that just something you're not interested in because you want to focus on the whole parkour thing?
I don't know how necessary it is to have a coach.
Coach or manager or
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah.
I mean, it's less because I have to think about like my mind's in like a slightly another place, like in the match, because I'm like thinking like who should go out and stuff. But I don't know if it's that much of a hindrance. I think it's not too bad.
Yeah, I think for PHAT, they're built up of these just insanely powerful players that it's like they can just like overlook sometimes strategy just by being just really freaking good athletes and then just getting going really hard. Like, absolutely, I don't think they probably need a coach, unlike us.
But like, if you had one, do you think that would help you go like reach all the levels, or just maybe help you focus on just like going on the chase or something? Is that something that helps you at Apex to have someone that kind of help you with the plays, or do you already have like everyone knows what to do and you don't have someone to tell you like, oh, you're next or whatever?
Man, off the quad, having a coach is just so helpful. Like he's created the fundamentals for everything we absolutely know about World Chase Tag. And then he also his freaking Amos's logical just mastermind brain is able to like literally look through every single chase that has ever happened in the history of World Chase Tag and know exactly like who we should be paired against, analyze that, get input from us, and then like reevaluate. So it's a nice like having a human computer just by your side.
Yeah, I tried to do something like that, and I was just like, "Fuck!" I just gave up. It's so long.
Yeah, man, it takes a
Going
lot.
through all that, it's insane.
Yeah, I know Apex also had like many people working like on watching the chases, recording all the data and everything. We've done it here as well, like recording where people got tagged on the quad, where people fell, what kind of strategy they mainly use or stuff like that. But that's like once you have the data, that's not enough to just have the Excel sheets. That's like how you put it into like something understandable and people can actually use and exploit during the game or something. Like anyone can
Yeah,
just
the
spend
data only
hours
helped
watching the
us.
games or something.
Yeah, I think data only helped us with like the first USA tournament where no one had any idea what they're doing, and our only advantage was just pure statistics. So that's how we utilize that. But then going forward, it's like people are different now.
And is there any like information or data that like was hard to obtain or was hard to gather, or you couldn't even maybe obtain at some point that you would have liked to have before you go against a certain team or before you go into competition? Or do you feel now at a point where it doesn't really matter the team you're against, like it's just you're just gonna do what you do and
Everything's online, you know. It's like all their previous matches are online. You can just watch those. Just watch what you need to watch, you know.
right? And you, Lando, same.
Um, yeah, yeah. I mean, because you can't. I don't know. Like, it was good watching all the footage like a few years ago, but now like I don't know how the techniques are changing too fast that it's, by the time you've watched it, it's just changed by the time you've got to the event, right? And there's just new stuff. So
So do you kind of just like, especially with the rate of events going faster now, like more events per year and everything, is it becoming like complicated to watch the games, like to actually analyze it, because it's like overload of data, like too many games to watch, too many people to play, and you just kind of rely on what you know how to do? Or do you still, before you go to WCT6, are you gonna watch like the games from the past year from the teams you're gonna face or something?
yeah, I would. Um, yeah, I'm not. I wouldn't do that much
Yeah.
watching. I think mainly just train on the quads and like try and figure out new things because we've we haven't trained on the quad, all of us. This is so long. But I think it's better just to get used to it again and try and find new strategies and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with what he said. Definitely. It's like changing so fast that every season or every time you go out, you almost have to pull out like a new card out of your deck. something no one's ever seen before. Make sure it's like something new.
Yeah, keep a few surprises. Like, I love to see Olaf from Apex play because like I call him the magician because he always like every time like he did the like on the bench next to the ridge, then to the pole, then the other way, like always pulls this kind of crazy stuff into competition. At the US Championship, the last one, he did like tic tac onto the second sister and went back under while the guy was on top or something. And that's very creative move. That's like kind of saying like Ronaldinho play football or something. That's not necessary to do. You could play also like maybe more efficient or something, more like rushing or something. But when he brings it, that's just like, oh wow, that's just like so perfect.
Who was
and
this?
that's just like Olaf Wood.
Olaf.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, Olaf.
Yeah, sorry, my accent is not good. I said Olaf instead of Olaf.
No, it's okay. I love Olaf. Yeah, how Olaf plays is that he wants to take every single rule in World Chase Tag and basically break it as hard as he can
Yeah.
by still following the
That's
rules.
like Devin as
He still went like behind the mountain at US Championship, so he didn't walk, but he still tried it.
No, I freaked out when that happened. That was so cool.
Yeah, I was there. I was like, what? Like, why? Like, okay, that's amazing, but still, that's just
because
like
he can.
yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I'm just gonna take just 5 seconds to make sure the camera is still like recording. I see it here, but I just want to confirm so I don't straight it after.
Lando, you guys coming back to New York anytime soon?
Probably not for a while. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. We're thinking maybe LA. I don't even know if this year. Maybe next year sometime.
That's so far. LA's so far from you guys.
If you come LA, then we'll
That'd be
probably
nuts.
come as well.
Yeah, might as well lay over in New York for a few days. Couldn't hurt you.
Yeah.
You guys got to go to Colorado. What about that?
Maybe. I'm on it. Depends, like, it's up to everyone.
So last question, because I have to bring like kind of like a dense question, like very clickbaity that we can use, in the teaser we're gonna use for this podcast. Which team do you think is like the best performing but the most like unbalanced? Where you have one team that's like carried by one athlete or something. They're performing very well, but they're really reliant on like one or two athletes, and they like
Probably the Soda Dogs.
the Soda Dogs. Right.
Yeah,
Even though like now with
popular team.
Amos and
Yeah. Amos has been being sent out on Hollywood a lot in the last tournament. But before that, it was basically just Kyle Soderman.
I mean, in the US Championship, the last one that they've done, it felt like Soderman Kyle would always start as the chaser or evader. Like he would always do chase one. Then once he gets tagged or sent out of the quad, Amos would get in. Then usually I think that was Omar going in. And then they would send Kyle again. And then maybe Dale or Wes. Which was like, I get that Kyle is like such a strong athlete, but Wes and Dale were like, Dale was maybe like, that was not his best performance, I think, even though he's like freak of an athlete. But Wes was performing really well, and Omar as well. And that was just feeling like, oh fuck, like please send them more. Like they really benefit from this. They're really so strong athlete. They need more time on the quad or something.
Yeah, I was talking to Amos about that, and he was super surprised that he was the one who had to catch the person that caught Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, so I think that was pretty crazy. But yeah, going into that tournament, I think they tried switching it up a little bit and would love to see it from other players, but I don't know, they're still called the Soda Dogs.
Oh, so you call them the Soda Dogs. That's gonna be good for the clickbait. So you'd say Hollywood Foreigner is the most like.
Besides that, it'd be like GNF.
GNF just lost like so many strong athletes. I mean, Seth Ruggie said he retired from it. Seth Wang was picked by Apex. Now Jared was picked by Apex. And then I think like
Michael was gonna be on GNF.
Oh really? Okay.
And then we took him to Apex.
From what I heard, like Julius was injured like before the US Championship, and I think Davis like I don't know if he's still competing or if he still wants to join or something. But that's like
we're trying to take Julius onto Apex too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Is he like the roommate of Bear or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I know all the little like
Julius.
Julius Porter, tall black guy that plays for GNF, like super strong guy, always big smile. Usually goes onto the ridge, like put one foot in, and then the guys moves toward the tilted cube, and he just does a dive and tag him.
Yeah, but no, GNF is getting some like really strong athletes. Like the unknown boys. GNF is slowly turning to the unknown project now.
Yeah.
Joe Rizzo and Lane.
Yeah,
Jake.
they have very, very, very strong. They still have very strong athletes, which is crazy because like, I mean, I'll probably talk with them about it, but they don't all come from the same place, and they still manage year after year to still come with like a pack team with like very strong athletes, and still perform well. But that's like, as you said, when you're not spending that much time together and training together and everything, at some point that just shows on the quad or something.
You can only get so far. And then for being a scrambled team, I think it's more scrambled. They don't rely on just one person, like Hollywood or something, but it's definitely just more scrambled.
But that's where the sport is going as well. Like with Apex, PHAT is like a group of friends training together like year round. But also like Fata Morgana, Parkour 59 or Blue, obviously, I would say Kimeo because I spend time with them. They're together every week, going in, going out, spending time outside the quad as well. It's like, when I talk with Parkour 15, I feel what you've been saying. It's like more like kind of a family together training than just like, oh, let's do chase tag. It's like they could have picked they could have been doing speed running or something, but like they went to chase tag.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I was kind of all over the place. I hope you enjoyed it.
That was a good time. Time to hit some legs.
Yeah. You should, and we can't wait to see you compete again. At least like get back to your best shape.
Yeah.
I hope that
Me too, man. It's only 4:10 or 16 o'clock.
You kind of ruined my thing. Like I had many clickbait ideas. I was like, oh, I'm gonna ask him why he's not playing for Apex anymore. And like first thing you said, like, all right, I'm not playing for Apex ever again. I was like, oh, fuck, he stole my thing. I was just gonna keep my phrase of being like, so are you gonna play for Apex again? And you'd be like, and then we would cut it, and people would have to listen to the whole podcast.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that right now.
Let's do
that right now.
So it seems like you're not playing for Apex anymore. Is there like some beef between you guys? Would you join the team again?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's great. Great acting. Like, if at some point you have 1 week free, just tell me, we can organize that you come here. We can spend the whole week like working together, tweaking this, and finding out what you'd want to share with the world. And same for you, Jason. Like, if you have ideas or something like that, we could build a workshop around and bring you there. That would be like a great opportunity. I know Amos wanted to come live in France for a few months or something. So,
biggest things for me right now is just I'm in school.
Yeah.
I'm at university out here. But besides that, one of my biggest concerns with me in like the future of World Chase Tag was definitely like the money aspect in it, like just having to risk my mental and physical health, like especially after the last tournament, and then not getting like compensated that much. That was one of the biggest like deterrents, I think, from like looking into the future of World Chase Tag, especially since us even going to Worlds, like we might have been like one of the only ones who really got paid, but most of the teams still came out with a net negative balance from traveling to Europe, having to travel back, and then getting a little bit. They still lost money, like in the long run. So yeah, just figure out more streams of income and revenue, I think, would definitely be a good way to progress the sport and keep athletes like engaged.
Yeah, it's growing very fast, and it's very promising for the next few years or something. But like here, we still have a lot of work to make sure like athlete gets like to benefit from it. Don't have like, I know there has been cases of like injuries even in the UK, like Richard or something had to go out of pocket to like get surgery or something. So I'm also working and discussing with insurances and everything to help like that in the future or something. So that would be great. Like, I know in France we don't have that issue because if I break something, I'm just gonna go to the hospital and that's gonna be basically free. But I know the US is not working like that, so that's like something that needs to be tackled. But yeah, like basically like, yeah, if we can facilitate that, or if I can help even like organize it, whether it's in France, Europe, or any other part, like I would be excited. And we have a few projects we're discussing with some people that want to make events and pay for big teams to come. So if that happens, I'll just let you both know. Obviously, like, you're on top of my list. So if you're available to come compete to some level or do some shows or something, that would be great to like provide more opportunities for athletes. That's kind of like
please
the main
reach
the
out.
main thing I want to work on. So yeah, and I'm gonna keep annoying you. Lendo knows I'm just contacting him like, oh guy, you need to do a workshop. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, see, yeah, no, you have to do it. Even if I have to like come pick you up and bring you to every gym afterwards, I'll do it. I'm happy for it.
Man, if
if you come here for a week, I think like we can already kind of walk around and like clearly define what you want to bring into your workshop. My idea is not to like, oh, let's make a workshop and we just make it about me. It's just make it about you, like what you want to share, what kind of outlook you have on the quad, what kind of ideas you have, what kind of movements you have that you want to share. Some things you may not want to share and you may need to like to define it beforehand. So I'm happy to help you kind of like work this out. And if needed, like, especially because not all French people where we have the most quads speak English, I'm happy to even come with you to the gyms to just do translation, take some photos, help them sell it or something. So
Lando, like from my perspective, you are like you're not going to school, right? You're just doing parkour literally every day. Do you have like an income? Like this would be fucking sick.
Yeah, you have the whole PHAT project and the YouTube channel and everything, but like if we can make it in a way that like when you come, they can also come and you can do like, you know, some parkour training in the cities as well to produce content as well as providing the workshop. So that may be like a win-win for everyone. You're making content, you're getting paid for the workshop, the gym's getting like exposure or like a very good workshop for the athletes. That's very good. And like I'll look into it as well, Jason. Like if we can make you come, just tell me when is your like summer holiday or something. I don't know how it's working there, but if we can find a way to make you come as well, maybe at the same time as Orlando, or maybe just like the week after or something, and do something, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Reach out.
All right, I'll keep annoying you. I'll bring you like baguettes when I come to the US, but you won't be at Panam, so I'll have to wait for next time.